are live. What's up, everybody? I'm in the dark camera today. The lighting's a little weird, but we're going to go with it. We're going to do it. We here. It's Tuesday night. We got a full house in the studio. You're watching Young Lion TV. Let's go.
Young Lion, young lion. Everywhere I look, they dying. Everywhere I look, they dying. Young lion. Everywhere I look, they dying. Everywhere I look, they dying. Young lion. Won't you get up and stop fighting? Everywhere I look, they're hiding.
All right. What is up, everybody? Yeah, Jake is on there just messing with the settings while we're live. Going to try. See, that's what happens when you try to change the lighting up at the last second. No, it still looks bad. It's all right. We're gonna leave it. Look, now there's a rectangle. Now there's a rectangle on the screen. This is hilarious.
He wants it perfect.
Oh, there you go. Thank you. All right, let's go back. See, okay, bam, there we go. See, this is the funny thing about Jake, because Jake loves doing this. Like at the last second, he want to change something that we don't need to be changing at the last second, and then it's like,
well, you're the one that was talking shit. So.
What you mean?
You were talking about the shot. It was too dark.
No, I'm talking about why is the shot too dark? Because you moved the light to a spot it's never at.
That's good for them. They got good lighting.
They look a little washed out to me. I don't know. But it's all good.
Well, we didn't have time to go over that.
I know. So what's up, man? We got a whole full house in the building, as you can see from the two shots that we're up right now. I want to say what's up to everybody who's watching. We got a bunch of people in the chat already. Everybody, please like the video, share, give it a thumbs up, give it a heart, share it, let everybody know you're watching. If you're on YouTube, you can comment, you can like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And, join in on the conversation. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff that's going on right now, talk about what's happening. And I want to give a special shout out to our boy Kyle Mack, who's holding it down on the production tip this evening. He hit me up a couple hours ago and was like, yo, I'm going to come through tonight. I'm like, we got the podcast. He was like, oh, yeah, I'll just hang out. Nah, bro, you gonna work.
Put me to work.
You gonna work.
Why does my mic sound weird? Is it weird sounding to you in your ears?
No.
Okay, I'll accept it.
It doesn't sound.
Can you turn me up?
Told you. He want to have it on 0. Look.
It sounded good with the music, but now.
Yeah, the music.
That's good.
Yeah, so not only do we got Kyle holding it down, so that freed up our girl Rachel to be on camera this evening. She's going to be looking up stuff and trying to bring the stories up, but have some camera time as well. So all the people, they're always like, where's Rachel? There she is.
It is washed out, and she does look like a ghost.
I told you. I told you want to put that light right.
Thanks, Jake.
Hey, I need some help. It looks good in the camera monitor.
It always looks different, right?
How's it look?
I can't tell because when I come off camera, I can't see.
Look, you can look over here. See how white you are?
Let us know. Let us know in the chat. Does Rachel look crazy in the lighting? And
when Moan looks washed out.
And I have the computer screen that's
I'm a
shining
little
on
dark.
my face. A little fancy.
But not only do we have Rachel, we got my brother Jake sitting next to me in the Barcelona hoodie. We got the half black, half Indian with the Spanish last name, Mr. James Garcia, holding it down in his old black man hat. As usual. And then
I call that non-threatening.
The
non-threatening hat.
And then we got Moan with the still not giving up the backwards hat.
Nope. No, sir.
Moan be 62 looking like that.
But I can appreciate your merch choice, my brother. Holding it down. Rocking the Jatan merch, which you can get at jatan.com.
Y'all gave me one, but I've gained some weight, so mine will look like a halter top. So I can't do it.
Yo, but
I love this shirt, man.
I know, man. We need to get more of these made.
I want some different color ones.
Yeah. I was messing around with some different designs.
Yeah, like this.
Yeah, with different colors.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite.
Yeah, man. Some wonton shirts. I can dig it.
Yeah, man. So, what's up, everybody?
What's
been going on?
Not much. How are y'all doing?
What
Don't hold on.
What is going on?
Right? What's going on over there?
With us?
Yeah.
We're good.
Awkward.
Yeah, so let's talk about what's going on right now. Stuff is starting to it feels like stuff is starting to creepily get into like
Tensions are getting high.
normalcy. No, I feel like there's some normalcy starting to come back again. You know
Yeah,
what
that,
I mean?
yeah.
Like as far
Sport
as
wise, Mona and I were just talking about that. Sport wise, it's starting to.
I feel like there's other things where people are starting. I'm starting to see it kind of like, like it's springtime, the flowers start blooming. I'm seeing people start to bloom outside
Right.
a little
Beaches
bit.
are open.
Right.
Yeah, beaches starting to open. People, well, even this past weekend, people were at the beaches even though they were closed.
Mm-hmm.
Like people were just rushing the beaches, like
They
in
were
different
open
parts.
though, weren't?
Yeah.
Certain places they were
I think
they were
open-
still closed.
Yeah.
In New Jersey, they were open.
Yeah.
But like in certain parts of the country, the beaches were still closed. The people didn't care. They was out there in numbers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it was. I think if you could find like some pictures of that, Rachel, it was. I saw it all on Twitter. Like people out in Virginia. There was some ladies. You know that you heard that new term they call women who tell, or women who are like always, acting entitled and
Karen.
white. They call them Karens,
Yeah.
right? So
I just learned that today.
you just learned that today. So there was
heard
a lady going around at the beach like filming everyone who wasn't social distancing and like getting all mad. So they called her the ultimate Karen.
Right.
It was a pretty funny video. I don't know if Rachel could find that, but yeah, I'm starting to see like things starting to ease up a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, yesterday I had a drive-by birthday,
Yeah, that's right.
and everybody wanted to stay around. You left, but
I saw him like,
Yeah,
so
they
is it
all
a
turned
drive-by
around and-
birthday or even
Yeah.
that, because you just had one not too long ago for your son.
yeah,
And
And
everybody
everybody
was
was-
out. Like
Yeah.
they wouldn't even get out their cars.
Right.
This time it was like everybody was out the cars chatting,
Yeah.
talking. I'm like, oh, okay. So
Yeah.
we not scared no more.
Right.
As much as we
The
were
warm,
before.
the warm weather too.
Yeah,
It's a
warm
little
weather.
warmer.
it's still funny though because some of them are like they got out the car, but they're still keeping their distance with their mask on and everything.
Right.
I think people are realizing it's not that bad.
Or maybe look, Kyle's face.
I've had conversations with someone just today who is so afraid to leave her apartment.
Wow.
I guess she says that she's at risk because she's anemic. So I don't know if anemia, is that the right word? Anemia?
Anemia,
And
yeah.
if anemia is higher risk for contracting COVID-19
You're not higher-
compared to any other underlying disease.
I don't think
or
you're
cause.
higher. You're not higher at contracting it, but what
Immune system.
how it can affect you is probably you'll be worse off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So anemia would be the wrong thing to have while hanging around people with COVID-19. Is what you're saying?
If you were hanging around people with COVID-19.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think you shouldn't be hanging around people with COVID-19.
All right. What about people who work with people who have COVID-19?
Well, you're taking a chance, but
Okay.
just
Probably not a good idea.
just
I probably shouldn't even be here.
take their temperature. Wash your hands. Take your precautions.
Okay.
Take your
My
vitamin C.
Wi-Fi is trash right now. I'm trying to see like what's going on.
Oh, okay. That's not good.
Me shrimp.
Check which one.
That's right.
Greta Yagi said, "What's good, fellas? Happy belated birthday." I guess that's to your daughter.
Oh yeah, I guess. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, P. Say Tan is watching. What's up, P?
What's up, P?
Hey, what's up, Peace?
Hans Berger said, "I'm ready for band practice to be open."
Yo, band
Band
practice,
practice
is open.
can be open.
It's all about when y'all want to come. You know what I mean? Like band practice could be open, man.
We're here right now.
We're here. Like we've been here the whole time. So it's just a matter of y'all want to come and get it popping, man. We're ready.
Which one was that?
Steve, keyboard player.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Hansi.
Another thing I wanted to talk about was, did you guys see that that gym in Belmar, New Jersey?
Yeah.
You see that clip?
I actually caught his interview with Tucker.
Whose interview? The guy that owns the
guy
gym?
that owns it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Like I was just talking to James before. What is essential?
Right.
You know what I mean? It depends on how you look at things.
How are liquor stores essential?
Exactly.
Right.
But
How is
a gym is not essential.
exactly how is WWE able to, operate and UFC. I was talking to him about the awesome fight that just happened.
Well, that's a little different. And I understand that because what they're doing is they're testing everyone throughout the entire process. And they're making sure that no one has it, the people that are interacting with each other. Like a public situation is you're getting people from who knows who they've been around. You know what I'm saying?
Are they testing everybody though? Like
Yeah.
the trainers?
Yeah.
The,
They're testing
there was
everyone.
a bunch of
They're
people.
testing
that was there.
everyone. Everyone who's involved
Yeah.
is getting tested.
A couple of the fighters who
multiple
did,
times.
They sent them home. But in
Yeah.
the gym, how would you do that? Though? How would you?
That's what I'm saying.
They take their temperature when they come
well,
in.
all I'm saying is like comparing opening up a gym to like the UFC or the WWE is really not the same because they're testing all those people. But like
Right.
comparing a gym to like a liquor store makes more sense.
or
to me.
just going shopping.
Going
at
shopping,
Walmart.
yeah.
They don't
Interacting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's thousands of people
Because you're
going in
touching
there.
things there too.
Right, and how are you determining that one is more essential than the other? Is my opinion on that.
Right now, the people who own liquor stores just signed off.
Hey, listen, that's fine.
Yeah.
Happy Mother's Day on my mom's lawn, and she stayed inside at her window. Oh, she said we did Mother's Day. Okay, Kathleen said we did Mother's Day at her mom's day. Yo, did y'all see that video of this lady that got on the news because she created some like there's been like a lot of weird, this is how we're gonna reopen things. And this one lady did like this hug thing that she did because her grandmother didn't get it. Her grandmom hasn't been able to hug the kids in like 2 months, so she created this way for them to hug. Like, please tell me you have Wi-Fi, Rachel.
Sort of. What are we looking up?
Look up damn, what's it called? Something about grandmother hug, something like that. I forget what they called it. I saw it on Twitter. It was like it was like
It's a modified name or something like that.
no, it was like she created this way where her grandmother could hug her kids, and it was probably like one of the cringiest things I've ever seen. It was like so
I'm so
ridiculous, bro. You gotta see it. You gotta
I
see
can't even-
because it doesn't even make logic sense. It doesn't even make logic sense. Like the way she created it and like what it is. It's just funny. It's just fun. It's like, but then I get why she did it because the news came out and did a whole story on this lady.
Right.
And now she probably got, people
They
online.
love that, like
Yeah.
the dumb stuff that
Yeah.
people are like really overly following rules.
Yeah. Did you see the one bar that like had people wearing these inner tube devices with rollers on them, like so that they could make sure that everyone was staying? It opened the bar up, but everyone had to wear these like these things around them so that they couldn't
So
get
that they
within
could be
6 feet of each other.
That's funny.
I wish we could pull this up. I don't know what is
Oh man.
Are you connected to the right Wi-Fi? Yeah.
I just asked her the same thing. So
Oh.
every time somebody asks, it just annoys her.
That's
Are you connected to the right?
half true.
Okay. I guess sitting 2 feet in that direction changes the Wi-Fi situation.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm
it's
saying?
great.
Like, come on, man.
But yeah, and then there was another one I saw of, I think it was in Germany. There was a restaurant that opened up, but people had to wear these hats that they made. There was literally like, you ever see those floating noodles in the pool?
Yeah.
So they had these like, they had these hats that like the floating noodles went in all these directions. And like, so it's to make sure that like
Right,
you
it's nice.
couldn't come but so close to
Right.
somebody.
Germany hat.
Yeah, pool noodle hat. Look that up. But yeah, so I saw a bar with the inner tubes, but the lady with the hug thing took the cake for me, man. It was like
I wish we knew.
But
what
Jake
you
is
were
right.
talking about.
She accomplished her goal.
she accomplished her goal, right, which is the ridiculous part about
All right,
it.
here we go, Kyle. Give me a shot.
Okay, we got all right. Let's see.
Should be a picture here.
It's got to be a
But I
picture.
was told.
I got it, but
That doesn't help her
Can't
at all.
No way. But so this is the
There you go.
situation.
Okay,
yeah.
there's the picture.
Right.
But
right. I think they're being tongue in cheek there, though.
You think so?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think that
I don't know,
that-
man.
People
Did
are satiring it.
Look up the bar. I forget where this bar is.
They gotta be.
Look up the bar
They gotta be.
that opened up and made people wear like these inner tube things.
Yeah.
Maybe, and it could be that even the bar is like
They're making
making
fun
a
of
joke
it,
out of
yeah.
it. It could be, but it just looks. But people are still doing
No,
it.
I know
like-
it could be true, but I definitely think that, they're trying to find creative way to make fun of it and at the same time open up their bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny.
And it gets the response that, like Jake was saying, because you get to have the news inquire.
Right.
Because think about it, this is the first time that there's really not much stories going on. Crime is down.
Yeah.
There's really nothing.
The climate is going like. Then I saw something about like carbon emissions are down like 19% or something like that. I was like,
So it's like
you can't even complain about that right now.
Right.
Speaking of that,
Greta.
Thunberg is
Oh,
now an expert on coronavirus.
Who's that?
You don't know who Greta Thunberg is?
I feel like I'm out of the loop on this one.
Okay, get out.
How dare you?
No,
How dare you?
How dare you?
By the way, the software said that it detected audio feedback, so now all the audio, the audio coming from the Wirecast. So I guess I don't know if that means like credit roll is going to be muted because it said it turned off all output audio from the software.
What?
Yeah. So apparently it said, "Hey, there's feedback. Let's turn this off."
Okay.
Just let you know that.
All right. Let me
Guess we'll
let me
see.
check that out.
As,
Can people hear us right now? Let us know if you can hear us.
I have a feeling it has something to do with more like the waiting video when you're waiting to live broadcast.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you.
That's old. That I think the feedback happened after that, right?
All right. How about if I just leave it on?
No. So somebody posted up the clip of the
Yeah, I think I got it too.
hug thing.
Well, no. Okay, so I got the Germans in.
Let's see. Go to
The pool
go
noodles, I
to her real quick.
That's definitely-
yeah.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah, the pool noodles. That's what
That don't look like it's 6 feet.
So just a
No,
Nah,
but
that's not 6 feet.
no, but you combine with the other person, you can't get any closer. So that's
Right.
supposed to equal 6 feet.
Oh, 3 and 3.
3 and 3.
Make 6.
Same thing with the
The Germans are inventive.
They are.
same thing with the
So I have to line up my noodle with your noodle.
what happened, Kyle?
I am so flustered right now.
Sorry.
I hit camera 2 and it's off. So
It's off.
yes.
Okay.
So what button has to be pressed here?
Well, Rachel's going to help you out real quick.
Okay.
This is what happens when we switch. It's just like,
It's all right, man.
oh wait, it's that one.
Yeah, that's camera 2.
Don't tell
Is
me.
it on there?
I hit camera 2 right now and it's
There it is.
there we go.
Oh, okay. Yeah, remember that one doesn't stay. We got to fix
I
that one.
fixed it.
Nah, it doesn't. It doesn't work.
Remember I fixed it last time?
Well, you attempted to fix it.
You know what?
Uh
I quit.
I was good, but
Alright.
even the last episode, remember, I was jumping up because it just kept coming up. But I was cool. I was like, I got it.
oh. Don't do it now.
I'm figuring this out. You talk. I don't got nothing to say anymore.
But I'm saying, what if we need to go to that camera shot? What if we need to go to that camera shot?
All right, we're gonna take this time to say what's up to Lisi PCs, Shawiqua,
Okay.
Jonathan. What's up? Danny Marie.
I want to cut to the person who's talking right now, but I'm not so sure. I
It's
should.
okay. It's okay. Jim Knight ran, and I think this is M. Elizabeth Bayard, Maria Bayard.
Oh yeah, that's Maria.
It's Joy
What's
Behar.
up?
Joy Bayard.
Joy Bayard.
Kathleen said the kids in China are wearing those hats for school. Is that the pool noodle hats? Let's see, Rachel. See if you can find. Someone posted up. It's from ABC 13. The lady invents way to hug grandparents. Just look that up. I'm telling you, this is like I saw this and I was like, what? What? Damn, what is going on? The internet's not working today.
PSA text me. Is this what Jamie talking about? It sends me no link. Come on, P, you gotta send a link, man.
That's funny, man. But anyway, let's move on then. Who was I going to talk? Oh,
Here we go.
What?
CNN.com. I'll send it to Rach.
I don't think she can pull it up, man.
You can text out it.
No, the issue is I cannot, like, I would have been had it, but I don't have the internet.
You would have been had it.
Would have been had it, man. I'm trying here.
This is a pretty ridiculous
Bing
though,
works.
Jay.
That's about it, though. The homepage of Bing.
What up?
It's really
And then I
weird
try and
because
go
mine's
anywhere else.
working.
What, your Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
I know.
Maybe I should get off of Wi-Fi. Taking
Yeah.
some of that
Yeah,
bandwidth off of it.
Do the same
All right.
thing.
Let's all get off the Wi-Fi and see if that helps
Yeah.
Rachel.
Speed it up a bit.
My goodness.
Mona's just like enjoying this whole thing by himself, which is terrible. Yeah, so anyway.
Oh my goodness.
It's like, what does she do? She made like this plastic.
Plastic thing.
It's
with
like,
the-
it's kind
with
of
the-
like, you ever see like the thing when they're working on, like when chemists are working on stuff and they have like the shield, like the plexiglass shield, and then they put their hands in the gloves and then they touch stuff that's like radioactive or something.
Right.
You know what I mean? So she kind of like made that out of like what's kind of like saran wrap or something. And just created like with what's it, PVC pipe, and she built this like long
Yeah.
structure that you walk up to and you put your arms through the plastic and you hug each other.
And she decorated with hearts.
But the thing that was hilarious to me about it is like, yo, everybody's touching the plastic though.
Yeah.
Like you're still all touching something that each other are touching.
Maybe she sanitized it before.
No, but they're all going up one after the other and
Yeah.
touching the plastic. So the only one who's not touching anyone is the grandmom.
She's the one that counts, though.
Oh.
Come on, man. Don't take away the goodness out of it.
Okay.
You got it?
Can I have a shot?
She said, "Oh yes,
Oh, my
oh
God.
yes."
You're not alone.
This is what love is all about.
This is
This is precious.
Great Grandma Rose is used to hugging her granddaughter
like
Carly
Merchantville.
and her great grandchildren all the time.
I see them every day normally, so kind of a challenge not to be able to see them, not to be able to hug them.
So Carly came up with an ingenious invention that looks like something straight out of The Boy in the Plastic Bubble.
I was getting sort of to the point of, oh my gosh, I just can't handle this. I just need to hug her. The kids need to
So
hug
just
her.
hug her.
Some plastic protect 85-year-old Rose and let everyone have a hug without potentially spreading the virus. And the Illinois family just can't get enough of their great grandma's love.
I love you.
Yo, I think the point
It
is
has meant the
the
world
point
to
is for
Rose,
them to
too.
get us
My heart.
to do this all the time. Like even for the flu, even for like the sniffles, the cold. It's like we want people to always be thinking to do dumb stuff like this. Like we're not allowed to hug anymore. We're not allowed to touch each other because it's like,
Let's walk around being scared.
is it that serious?
The fear is that strong.
We were just talking
I
about
just don't need to hug people that bad, so I can't
To
relate.
me, it's like Common Core math.
comical
Yeah, like you're
math.
making stuff really, like either don't hug or hug, but like,
Right.
come on,
It's
man.
like we were watching that thing with AIDS,
Yeah.
Fauci.
Yeah.
And it's like they want to do the hard thing just to make people go through. And I know it has to do with money too.
Right.
But still, it's like, man, they know what's going on.
Yeah.
They know that this math, it don't make no damn sense.
They know that to subtract 19 from 15. Why do I gotta, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Figure out how I'm breaking down 19 into 8 different
What are all
numbers.
these dots
It's
about?
like it's like how many 5s are in 19?
Yeah.
Right.
How many 5s are in 12?
Right.
Now break those out and then multiply and it's like. By the time you explain that to your kids, they're like, "I hate math." You know what I'm saying? Like
They're
they just like,
mentally done.
I don't want to do
Yeah.
math.
Right.
Keep math away from me.
But it's literally like, okay, just give me whatever you need to give me.
Right,
You know
right,
what I mean?
right.
And that's how people are. They're like,
Right. Well, stuff like this, I think it's the news have to do this because they have to offset the people protesting. So they have to show people in compliance.
These are the people that are doing it the right way.
Right. So they have to show it like they're having fun with it.
Yeah.
They're being creative.
Right.
You know,
You can hug your grandmother again the right way.
Right, because they gotta show enough of people being, inventing these ways versus the people who are like, I'm going surfing. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm defying the rules. They gotta,
Right, but then that video, like, see if you can find that video from the Belmar gym that when the police showed up, because we didn't really go into it earlier. We kind of brushed by it, but so there's a gym right around here in Belmar, New Jersey, that defied the stay-at-home orders by the governor and opened up a couple days ago and was like, people got to get back to work. People want to work out. We're going to open up. This is getting ridiculous, basically. So the cops showed up and they went up to the owner and they went to the people that were waiting to get in and they said, listen, you guys are in violation of the governor's orders, but on that note, have a good day and be safe. You know what I mean? And then they left. Everyone started cheering. It was like this great moment where the cops were showing like, we're coming out here because we have to inform you of this, but we're not going to take it a step further and like totally infringe on your constitutional rights just because that's literally like a governor's order is not a law. It's just a recommendation, but it's also like it's an order, but it's not a law. So to be arresting people over it is you get into this weird place.
Well, I think they were handing out fines, and the people who didn't.
No, there's people.
I know the first day he handed the owner the fine.
The fines.
Yeah.
Somebody got arrested
today.
Somebody got arrested today. But they're arresting people all over the country. I mean, there was that lady in Utah that got arrested for opening up her salon.
Right.
And then she, said she
was in jail for like 2-3 days, right?
Yeah, but then she said she didn't care. She was going to open it up anyway. And then, but you know what they did after that?
No. What?
They sent Child Protective Services to her house to interview the kids and like basically scare her. Like the governor did this to scare her into like, no, you're going to comply or we're going to fuck with you.
See, this is what don't make sense, right? Your people who break the law or who are criminals, they're letting out of jails because they don't want to spread this virus.
Right.
But people who just want to feed their kids or, employ their employees, they're locking up.
Right.
What?
It's weird, man. It's a weird time.
They let Tekashi 6ix9ine out of jail.
Yeah, they let him out of jail.
6ix9ine trolling people.
Well, like you said, the main argument is what's considered essential, right? Because like you said, the liquor store.
Right.
I mean, I get the grocery store thing, but the liquor store is not really essential.
Right.
Liquor stores, dollar stores are open.
So that's what gyms are doing wrong. They need to just start like putting some eggs and bread and milk in there, and then
hey, we're essential.
Yeah, now we're essential. Come in here.
I don't think if the governors or let's say like a gym facility or whatever, people in there, sweating, working out or whatever it is. What if they said, hey, we're gonna, wipe down these machines or disinfect them or whatever it is? Could that be an option?
I mean, that's what
they're doing.
That's what they're doing in other places. You know what I mean? Like,
why is that not an option?
Well, the gym did that. Like they took, I think, a lot of their machines and made it further apart.
Right.
Taped stuff off, and they have a whole bunch of sprays and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
To me, it's like rehab places are like gyms. They're open. How come a regular gym can't be open?
Right.
We get it. You guys just want to be in shape.
No, it's a real
I know what you mean.
question to me, because then you look at like Wisconsin was having that same problem, right? And then people protested and people were getting arrested, and then it went all the way to the Wisconsin Supreme Court, and they overruled it and said you can't shut down businesses. It's unconstitutional. Right. So they had to reopen the whole state.
Well, the other side of it is, smaller businesses are gonna.
They're suffering.
They're gonna hurt the hardest. Because usually small businesses maybe are sustainable for like a month or 2 months, if that.
Right.
And they can't charge people.
Right.
No one is gonna say, okay, well, continue to charge me my rate even though I can't come. So they're gonna end up hurting. And I think if they put a freeze on I don't know if they're doing it or not on like the mortgage or something like that, but those bills are still coming.
Yeah, a lot of people are putting it like. They're deferring those payments to like the back end of the lease or something.
Right.
But
mortgage. But the thing is, like for a mortgage, it'll still show up on your credit.
Well, I can understand
That's
why
what they
they're
don't tell
frustrated.
you.
That's what they're not telling you. You still hit your credit.
Yeah.
I mean, car payments won't, but
Yeah.
We looked into it. Our bank, with our mortgage, they were like, when this is all over, you have to pay the bulk amount, like with
All at once.
all at once.
Yo,
Like,
that's crazy.
It's not even worth it.
Yeah. That's what even with the money that a lot of people have been getting, like the extra unemployment that's been given out. There's a lot of people that own businesses that people don't want to go back to work because they're like, man, I'm gonna ride. Like you see certain people like saying like, nah, we need to extend this thing. We need to be safe because they get more money on unemployment than they would even be getting from their job.
Right.
And there's some people that are like,
they're trying to pass that bill in the Congress, and I mean, if you really read that bill, it's crazy.
There's a lot of crazy
and
stuff.
most people just want it to pass because they want
more money. They got that first.
Even
Trump
unemployment.
check.
When you think about it, unemployment comes out of your Social Security.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
You know. It sounds like free money, but it isn't.
That's the thing. Everyone has been in this mindset of like, well, if I get a check from the government, it's just free money.
Right.
Like, no, that money's coming from somewhere.
Right.
It's always coming from somewhere.
You just don't know it yet.
Right. Nothing.
You gave up.
I'm tired over here. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and not be able to look anything up the whole time.
South Dakota never closed down.
Right.
They refused to close down.
How do their numbers look?
Dude, one of the best. You know what I mean? Which is crazy.
How about like Sweden?
Sweden, same thing.
Yeah, they never closed, right?
Yeah, like I don't know. Maybe if Rachel has better luck, she can look up the statistics on that. But I know, like for a fact, South Dakota never closed down, and I would kept seeing it come up on the news, like South Dakota is going to be the new hotspot. They're defying, you know what I mean? Doctors, the experts. We keep talking about experts, and then it turns out like they're fine. You know what I mean? They're fine.
Right.
It actually, they. I think New York, even Cuomo was talking about this, how like 80%, 60 to 80% of the new cases of COVID were from people who were sheltering in place.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like all of the people that do have essential workers are one of the lowest people getting it. People that are going out every day are some of the lowest people getting it. Mm-hmm. It's mostly the people that are sheltering in place.
Right.
Which is weird. Mm-hmm. And then the average age, we were just talking about this yesterday, the average age of COVID death is older than the average age of death. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Which is another weird thing. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's just so many of these, as we get more information coming out, it's like, what are we doing? And I think a lot of people are
COVID deaths are older than the average death.
Yes, the average COVID death age.
What's the average death?
I think it's 85 COVID, and then the average death is 84.
So it's like 1 year.
Yeah, but it's still. I
mean, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not. It's like, it's still older.
Yeah.
So it puts to mind like, all right, so what was the point of all of this? Mm-hmm. You know, some people are saying, and you know, this video might get banned because of this, because they're censoring anyone who talks about any of this stuff.
Right.
But they're saying that what Rage?
What would I be laughing at right now? What would be funny?
You got it.
Video working immediately?
It's working immediately.
Wow. Oh yeah.
Oh, so that little pocket right there.
Oh yeah.
You can't
but I was in that pocket. That other episode with Moon, remember?
You out of pocket, yo.
You out of pocket.
Out of the pocket.
No, you were actually sitting here. Right here.
I was sitting in your spot.
So that extra foot over there.
Something.
So now y'all got to move over.
Side of that brick.
Yeah. Look at y'all. See, y'all got to move over to your left, James.
Everything about this is weird.
You guys are so close.
To me, it's like what's weird is everybody loves Cuomo, but
he's got some of the worst. He's got numbers of any
worst numbers because the whole nursing home stuff.
Yeah, that is crazy.
And you're like, you're coming at Trump for doing stuff when you're letting people who had COVID-19 back into the nursing home so they can affect.
No, they're telling them to bring them to the nursing home.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
People they like his aggression. Cuomo has he has a little.
He got that New York twang. Yeah.
They don't like it.
He
on
like, hey,
Trump.
tough guy. Yeah.
That's
guy.
what they like. Because immediately
I need
he starts saying
ventilators.
leadership.
I need 20,000, 100,000 ventilators.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what it is.
And he's going off on a couple of reporters too.
Right.
He's like,
he's got nipple rings.
Yeah.
Does he really?
Yeah, he does. You never see if you can find a picture of that, Rach. Cuomo's nipple rings. You can see it. You can, sometimes when he's like up there talking, he has a certain type of shirt on. You can see him.
It's a problem to me that this is the second time I'm looking this up in my life.
Your feet are gonna find your next suggestion.
What's up, Ariana?
Ariana, how you doing?
Mr. Fox tuned in, Stan tuned in, Baruch.
Yeah, but looking at all that information as it's coming in is just kind of confusing things more, and then seeing the way that this conspiratorial mind always takes over a little bit, because it's like seeing the way that they're dealing with it on social media, where it's like anything that anyone says, that even if it's doctors, if it's virologists, if it's like accredited people talking about studies that they've done,
taking their
they're
videos
deleting
down.
it. They're taking it down. They're banning them from Twitter. They're like,
you guys and your conspiracies.
that that pandemic movie that's going around, like a lot of people have been posting that. It's been deleted from YouTube like multiple times, and they don't realize that all you're doing is bringing more. If you really want something like that to not go viral, like stop drawing attention to it.
Right.
You draw more attention to it every time you ban it and delete it.
But what else can they do?
Just ignore it. Ignore it like they do with everything else.
It's going to get worse.
Right.
They're trying any way to.
Well, this is the first time people have had this kind of access to information.
True.
You know what I mean? So I don't think they. I think, like, in my opinion, this is a drill to see how society does respond, but they can't anticipate how people are gonna. Some people are taking the information. That's why probably they want to show the feel good stories and
the hug device.
They want to show that.
Why?
Hugging plastic.
It's gonna put people at ease.
Exactly. It's gonna make them complacent.
Get you comfortable.
It's gonna make you want to comply, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Make you want to comply. Just do what we say.
Right.
Everything will be better. Trust me.
Right.
Trust us, guys.
Right.
We're gonna.
Want to be a member?
Right. Well, this kind of happened before in 2001, after demolition experts, engineers, architects were questioned. They were the ones saying
something's not right here.
Not right.
Yeah,
a building free falling on its own.
Mm-hmm.
They did that, and back then they weren't. I don't think YouTube was around back then, but they definitely discredit those people.
Yeah, everybody had to watch the video.
Everybody had to watch
the infamous video.
Yeah.
What was it called?
It was a loose change. Was one of them. Yeah.
So you could see how
you were too young for that.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything that you're talking about. I was in 2001. I was in second grade.
Second, dang.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
It's weird when you make your tongue feel old.
Yeah,
but that's kind of what it reminds me of. That feeling of like, don't listen to those guys. Even though they have the PhDs and all the letters attached to the name that would be deemed credible by those very people, they're not saying what we want them to say.
Yeah,
or what lines of what we want you to believe. So don't trust them.
Right. Carolyn Stahl says you're hitting a lot of nails right on the head. That's what we do around here. We hit nails on the head.
Right.
I don't go getting prideful.
Come on.
Right.
That's what we do. But I think it's because for us and the type of the things that we believe in, the way we live our lives, like from the jump, it was kind of like, all right, I'm not going to be walking around afraid and fear. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We're going to see how this goes. I'm going to follow the rules.
And
I'm going to follow the law.
Not to be defiant.
No, not to be defiant.
Not to be.
As soon as they said, "Yo, we can't go in the store without wearing," I'm not gonna be the guy going into the store without a mask and being like, did you see the guy who went into the one grocery store with a KKK hood on?
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, I saw that.
Right.
Because he was like, "Y'all said mask."
Right.
I got him. So what he did was,
how many people laughed at that? Like when they saw it?
Yo, I laughed, man, because I knew exactly what he was doing. Yeah. But it was like he made a point because they had to force him to take his mask off. What are you laughing at, Kyle?
I just got a glimpse of what you're talking. I've never seen this.
What?
This video? Rachel pulled up the video.
Right.
It's not a video, it's just a picture. But
Of
go ahead and
what?
Put the screen up.
Okay.
Yeah. This
All right.
dude.
I was like, there's a video?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was a video clip. It looked like a YouTube video screen to me, but I've never seen this picture before.
And he's an old dude, so you know what he's doing.
You know what the point that he made was they told him, sir, you can't wear that in here. So he was allowed to shop with no mask.
Right.
So he was like, yeah, I won. To him, that was like a win. But like, you can't do stuff like that. That's
just being defiant. And even with like, the gym and everything, like I get what they're doing, but at the same time, like, I don't know.
Here's this gym clip if you want to see it. I think.
Yeah, let's play that.
Like, where's your faith at? You know what I mean? And I know people trying, I gotta survive, I gotta do what I gotta do, but.
Can you hear it?
Yeah, I hear it. You don't hear it?
USA.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it?
Mm-hmm.
That's not the video I was talking about.
Okay.
That is them. But
There's a clip of what the police officers said to them. When the police officers came up and told the owner.
But I think the cops get it though, because I'm looking at some of the language. Not all, but I think a lot of cops are kind of like
right. There was that video that went viral of the officer
2 weeks ago, a week ago. Something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
most of them get it. They're not necessarily.
Some of them don't, man.
Well, you're always gonna have a group of guys. What? We beat them over the head. Thanks.
Yeah, just like the ones in dealing with the case in Georgia with the guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Same thing.
I think people listen. If you're a connected person and you're able to see a little bit, you're gonna be able to know who is going out at will, who's doing what at will,
right?
And they're telling the public a different story. That's what it is. A lot of people are very afraid of losing I think if there was no fear or backlash or repercussions for people who could to lose their job, lose their pensions, their lifestyle, and they can come out and be like, they ain't following these rules.
Right.
But when your pension, your 401k, your retire, all of that is tied in.
Yeah.
You have to play along.
Right.
So even if you did say you gave me an order and I see you at the gym and I can come and tell the public, he's lying, y'all. But I know that if I do that, the repercussions are going to affect my family. I'll shut up.
Right.
And I think that's what's happening in a lot of ways.
In some ways, I see that happening.
I think that's why they came back and gave him, a citation.
Yeah.
Because probably
the governor.
Right.
Well, the governor came out and said that, like, I think he made a statement saying, like, if you defy this again,
right,
it won't just be words. It's going to be a different action, like, threatening them basically.
Dude's on a power trip.
But that's what happened.
Right.
That's the problem with when you give this type of power over.
Right.
And this is what, like, the Constitution and all that was kind of written about, was like not allowing tyranny to happen, because this is the problem with once you give those rights away a little bit, it's hard to get them back. It's hard to get them back. It's hard to get that freedom back that you give up, and it's in subtle ways, and it's usually done through fear, like something happening that puts you in fear, and you're like, it's like everyone's okay with telling on each other now. It's like if you see someone out doing something, like
right.
Like the dude, what was de Blasio had the tell line or whatever? Was it de Blasio or was it the?
I think he was out at the gym, right?
Yeah, he was out there, but I'm saying he had the hotline where you could call in or send pictures in, and people ended up sending a bunch of dick pics in, and like, or they sent in pictures with him with like a Hitler mustache, like people totally trolled him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I think is. I think this is a unique time where I feel a lot of people are starting to wake up to this. The language doesn't, the way they're saying this doesn't feel.
It's not adding up.
It's not adding up. The things that they would do. Because I told you, I looked at that news clip and I looked at all those clips from the 90s and all the station, everybody saying the same thing.
Right.
And years later, somebody able to put it together in a little.
See if you can find that, Rachel, because that's a good clip too.
What? Talking about the news?
The scripted, when the news, people revealed how scripted the news is. See if you could search scripted news or something
I would
like
love
that.
to see if she could find a girl talking about the
the AIDS cure. Yeah. That's a great,
I think
from
it's
the
from
90s.
1999.
A black doctor named what's his name, David something.
I don't remember.
He somehow created this cure for AIDS, quote unquote cure for AIDS.
And it had to do with a goat.
And somehow he did it in goats, and he extracted the serum, and he went to Africa and he was curing all of these people. Like, they have video documentation of it, and then apparently he got, what's this?
Your scripted news, I think.
Oh yeah, okay. Let's watch
First,
this
does it matter who owns your local TV station? While polls show Americans are increasingly worried about so-called fake news, they also show that many trust their local news more than other sources. The largest owner of local stations in the country is Sinclair Broadcasting. A viral video of Sinclair news anchors has again raised concerns about the way in which the company mixes news with partisan political opinion. William Brangham updates his story about the broadcast giant that originally ran last year.
A train derailment in Tennessee. Some routine road maintenance has led to a squabble.
We have some breaking news to tell you about. This is out of Bethesda tonight.
Night after night, the country's largest owner of local TV stations, the Sinclair Broadcast
Where it's a
Group,
bunch of them talking at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what this is advertised as. Hold on.
Oh, okay. Maybe it happens at the end.
social media. This weekend, the online site Deadspin
There we
created
go.
this
That's the video.
compilation of dozens of Sinclair's local newscasters recording an identical promo accusing the national media of spreading fake news.
And an agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 The video spread quickly on social media, again stirring criticism of the broadcast giant. Scott Livingston, Sinclair's senior vice president of news, responded in a...
Well, you can see that. You get the idea. Right. So it was basically a video. I guess Deadspin is the ones who made that video. So they're doing a news story based off of it. I guarantee you there's going to spin it some way where it's like, what you don't understand is that this company is accredited by the blah, blah, blah.
Right. And what I did some research on this, and I found out that they were more independent, true independent. I didn't understand that just as a lot of things are franchised in the United States.
Yeah.
The news recently, maybe about within the last 20 to 25 years, started to become franchised.
Right.
There were more independent stations.
Well, certain big corporations bought up a lot of the news. Same thing happened in radio. Me and Kyle talk about this.
Right.
You know, like when I was a kid, even there was way more radio, like independent radio broadcasters, and then you had Clear Channel and Radio One and all of these companies come up and pop. Now iHeartRadio like bought all of them. Right. You know what I mean? It's like
It's and that's what I think we're trying to explain is that when you have a corporate entity that has an idea and agenda, they're going to spin it the way they want it to.
Right.
And like I said, if you work for them, you have a job, you have a house, your life is depending on them. You're not going to go against them.
Right.
More than likely.
And not only that, they have control over an entire narrative. And we know from, the CIA operations in the 70s and 60s and Operation Mockingbird that they were buying up, they were infiltrating these news organizations to spin a narrative.
Yeah.
So if one company it can control all of this, it makes it even easier to do that.
And we're now seeing that day come.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But that's why I think last week we talked about this. I'm going to say real quick that Carolyn said the woman governor in Michigan in Michigan is on a power trip. She is one of the worst. She is one of the worst on this whole thing. Like, she basically threatened people. If you don't stop protesting, I'm gonna extend the lockdown. like what? What is that? What we're doing? You guys are gonna be on punishment longer if you don't get in line. But anyway, last week we were talking about that fake news testing thing that the ABC. Was it CBS? The CBS got caught. CBS got caught faking that testing site,
having the workers
for patients, having the workers get in line, make the line look longer, and And when we were saying is like, because people will always say, well, who would stage something like that? Who would go along with it? You know how many workers would have to be involved, and they would have to, but you don't understand, like when people are just doing their job, and the job tells them like, this is what you got to do, they'll just do it. Because even the dude that had the hidden camera that was talking to them, like, why are you doing this? They were just like, oh, they just told me to do it. You know, it's like it's not everyone's in this nefarious thing where they're all plotting. We're gonna fool everyone. It's like everyone's just doing their job. You know, what I mean?
I think people are looking at it like when you're
laughing at
doing what they're told.
It's because that's what everyone tries to spin it as. Like everyone's in the room twirling their mustache. We're gonna fool them all
because the way you're explaining it. People are thinking about it and then they're internalizing like, well, I wouldn't fall for that because the way you're explaining it, like they're falling for this, and they're thinking to themselves, well, I wouldn't fall for that because they're not in the situation, in the circumstance. Like Jake had told a story a while back about the African guy with the money, you know,
one of the original Nigerian scams,
right in Philly. You know, I can't remember the details of it, but in the moment, there's a lot of things people would do,
right.
You know, and
when you tell that story to other people, they're like, "Oh, y'all dumb! I would never fall for that." But in the moment, and they're so slick with the way they word things, and then you get caught up in the idea of like, "Oh, we're gonna come up off of this."
Right.
You could get easily caught up in that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. The one thing I wanted to say, in 1990, it was in 1990, 1992. That's how Ross Perot.
Ross
became.
Ross Perot was a boss though, man.
He was. But what I was gonna say is that's actually how he gained a lot of traction.
Yeah,
there was more independent news stations back then, and he was able to buy
cable time. Yeah,
he bought it, and because the way it ran at that time, I think it was MSNBC. No, it was NBC, CBS, and Fox. Was Fox around at the time?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so
not Fox News.
Not Fox News. Yeah. Okay, but whoever were the leading news reporter would only show Clinton and Bush. Right. But he went to this news station. He said, "How much is it?" And he said, "Give me an hour."
I'll pay $1 million for an hour.
And he did. And he was able to go up there and he was able to do his spiel.
He got his little charts and he broke it all down for people, and they said, "Oh, we like this.
We like this."
Yeah.
So he and
that was a movement, boy.
Right.
Ross Perot.
Right. That's but that's when it was more independent.
But think about what's happening now. It's the same game online now.
Right.
Because
it's moved to online.
Right. Because but think about it. What I'm saying is like in the last maybe 10 years, like when people started looking into things online, getting information online, it was more independent. It was more wild, wild west. It was more you had to find things. And then everything started getting filtered through a few companies, Google, Facebook, you know what I mean? I can't even think of anything else. It's just those. But YouTube. Twitter, YouTube, which is Google also, you know what I mean? Which both of those companies are under, what is it, Alphabet or something that owns Google and Facebook.
Disney somewhere in there.
And you know Disney probably owns all of them. I mean, we don't even know it. But you found the video?
Oh, no. I just sent her this, but
You time-stamped it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know. What do you want me to do? I text you it.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, but so now we're seeing that same thing happen that happened to radio and then to TV, and now it's happening online.
But you see, the public, people like myself, we're not in the industry, so a lot of people, we don't know the monopolizing or the corporatization of the news and the radio.
Right.
So to us, it was
happens
just
behind the scenes.
Right. So I think for a lot of people, this is really because when you don't know the industry and you don't know how things work, you're not going to think that then that could transfer to other aspects of life, whether it's the new form of social media or whatever it is. You're not going to think that because you didn't see the destruction or the dismantling of the radio and the music industry or local news or whatever. We don't know.
Right.
You know, we're just assuming that it all went away just like retail did. You know what I mean?
And you don't even think of the implications of it, because I remember watching the news when it was more straightforward news, and you would hear like, today Time Warner merges with, and you're like,
it used to be so boring.
Okay, I don't give a, you're like, what is that? Why do we even care about this? You know what I mean? But
and most people are saying, how is this affecting my life? When you don't really realize, it actually affects you.
Right. In so many ways.
Right. I mean, think about it, right? Just on the retail aspect, no one cares until Amazon becomes a monster,
right?
And you know, then we're like, how did
Which
that
it is,
happen?
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know,
And it's
Yeah.
like no one can compete with Amazon. Amazon has this business model now where it's like anyone who develops a product and then
Right.
sells it on Amazon,
Right.
they can then steal that product,
Of course.
and then sell it
They
the
study
same
it.
exact
Yeah, they
product.
study algorithm.
You know what I mean?
But we will all sit and be like, it's cheaper on Amazon. We feed into the beast,
course.
and then we wonder, where's all the mom and pop stores?
Right.
Why are they? Oh man, my daddy should shop here for tools, and it's all of the business. It's because we don't
Because we're
participate.
looking for the deals.
But it's the same thing. It's the same thing with the music industry or the local news. We're not tuning in. We're tuning into
Right.
Inside Edition
because
or
our
whatever it is.
priorities are to get the
quickest and cheapest.
Yeah, quickest and cheap. That's what wasn't that Rockefeller's whole way he built Standard Oil. You know, because and this is like back in the day when oil companies were just getting off the ground. Gasoline was just a thing, starting to become a thing. But I know his tactic was he had more money than everybody else, so he would open up a competing gas station and drop his prices so low,
Right.
Yeah.
and then raise them up in other sections of the
Right.
country to offset it, so that he could put you out of business. Then he would buy your gas station.
But isn't that how China got rich?
That's what China's been doing to us.
Yeah. And they can, that's their whole government, so
Yeah.
they can do whatever they want with their currency.
Right.
Make it look like, inflated, and make it look like it actually is worth something that it's not.
Right.
So, and I mean, you look at Amazon, these people are flourishing, but when you think
A
about
lot
it,
of those companies are using China.
yeah.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, though, like, there's no, like, how nobody's thinking, because I know people who are actually creating stuff. They're like, wait, how are they getting it that cheap? You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, right.
But the people consuming it, they're not worried about that. It's just like like food. Like, wait, how are they?
Yeah.
How are they making this food?
These Popeye's chicken. How are they getting that so cheap?
Yeah.
Like, nobody's thinking
Chicken
about
sandwich.
that. And that's the
It's made
thing.
in Canada.
So it's you have to. It goes back to like, okay, maybe we should be having a little bit more responsibility over the
Right.
things we consume.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Because
But that used to be a thing, right?
yeah, and even an honor to it.
Right.
Like there's an honor to you honor somebody when you buy from them or even trade from them.
Yeah.
Like this person is honorable.
Right.
So I'm gonna
Right.
trade with him.
But think about it, right? Back to the news thing. If there was a local news station from Camden,
Right.
we're just reporting South Jersey, Camden.
Right.
How many people would say, you know what? I live in South Jersey. I care.
I'm watching
It's 7
that.
o'clock.
Right.
Let me turn off Steve Harvey. Survey says, let me watch the local Camden news.
Not a lot of people.
No,
Yeah.
they would never. So, and then you get mad and you complain, what's going on around here? Because you're not participating.
Right.
Yeah, but that's
You know?
why it takes epic stuff to happen
For them to, yeah, no, I get it.
Right.
like these pandemics, and then you start seeing like
It's
stuff
controlled.
starts to get
Right.
exposed.
Yeah.
Because when push comes to shove and people start pushing back,
Things boil up to the
Yeah.
surface.
Right, right.
Like you're saying, a lot. That's who's suffering in this as far as retail goes, because a lot of these mom and pop stores
They're
can't
gonna go.
sustain.
Yeah.
So who's allowed to stay open? Target, Walmart, all the big corporations. And Amazon. They
Right.
suck up all the income,
Right.
and then they eat up all the little guys that
Right.
can't sustain.
Right. And like I said, that's to me what I feel like. Even if you're not a conspiracy theorist, what you need to do is slow down a little bit and just pay attention.
I mean, even the word.
I was
man.
thinking the same thing.
It's
Like
demonized.
it's been so.
Like,
Yeah,
it's-
right, right.
It was
I have
made
to
up
explain.
by what's it called?
The
CIA.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
they inserted that into the
Right.
psyche to
Yeah.
have something. It's
To
like
make
you
it
always
sound-
have to attach a connotation to something,
Yeah.
right?
It's the same thing as like,
I find
they're just
myself-
crazy.
Yeah,
Right.
You're right.
That Mel Gibson movie,
Right.
I think Julia Roberts was in it too. I don't something about conspiracy. I just know
Patriot
they played.
Games?
You're just so good to be true. Can't take
I don't know.
Y'all don't know what I'm talking about.
I don't.
It was like at a horse farm.
I can't
Mel Gibson.
Yeah,
movie?
Mel
Get into
Gibson.
this, I gotta.
He was this conspiracy dude. That
It's called conspiracy theory.
there you go. It's called conspiracy, and he was actually telling the truth, but it looked like the whole time
Right, right,
that he was just a crazy guy.
Right. And that's what it is. Like I said, the corporation or the corporatization of news, radio, all this stuff, media, when they have everybody under their control, they can spin the narrative
right
the way they want it to.
Right,
they
especially
can do whatever
when,
they want.
when you go into it trusted. It's a trusted news source. They give you that, right? Carolyn just said, "I'm 74 years old. Believed everything I heard on the news. Walter Cronkite informed us nightly." And even back then, it was a little more reputable.
Right.
Like they had an integrity to it.
And I think it was because, like you said, the integrity and there was a journalistic pride, and I felt like it was.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Even though there probably still was some spin and control, but now it's just a reality show.
CNN.
But think about it though. We live in a time where we live in a time where a clip, a small piece of something can turn a fledgling reporter into like,
So
I got my own show.
That.
Right. So they're all chasing that. I can be next to Billy Bush.
Yeah.
You know, so why would you not go for that? You know?
Billy Bush is on the outside.
No, he's back.
He's back now?
He's back.
Okay.
But that's what I mean. That's what we live in a time for.
Did you find that spot? All right, let's play that clip because I want to get the reaction on this.
Pool here in the United States revolving around, apparently, dialogues with Dr. Fossey's office.
Medicine on top of medicine.
By the time Precious was 6, Rocky knew her little girl could die any day. Rocky was desperate. So when she heard about a doctor in Tulsa who said he had a new treatment he created by injecting a goat, Rocky didn't care if it sounded crazy.
It didn't matter how nuts it was, right at that point in time.
In 1998, Rocky made
You'll
arrangements to get on a train with Precious to travel 1,000 miles to meet this doctor and his so-called goat serum, and she didn't tell a soul.
Nobody wasn't going to talk me out of doing what I did.
When Rocky and Precious got to Tulsa, they met Dr. Gary Davis, a family practitioner who'd injected goats with the AIDS virus and then used the antibodies the goats made to create a serum. Dr. Davis died in 2007, but Rocky says when she met him, she could tell he just wanted to make sick people well.
He was a man of God that wanted to help people. And he said God had given him this vision to go get the antibody from this goat.
Rocky says she asked the doctor dozens of questions, and he even showed her a vial of the serum itself. She says when the doctor wasn't looking, she did something only a desperate mother would do.
But I know I took it.
What do you mean you took it?
I took the serum.
You stole it?
I stole it.
Did you think about asking Dr. Davis?
He couldn't.
You asked him for
I did.
And what did he say?
He couldn't do it because it wasn't FDA approved.
Rocky says with the knowledge she had, she gave Precious the serum, and within hours, Precious was different, full of energy, the kind a 6-year-old should have.
It scared me that she was all over the place, jumping off the couch.
Rocky says over the next few days, she kept giving Precious injections until the serum was gone.
And she was just up, running around, wanting to eat.
Did you know for sure it was the serum?
It had to be the serum because she wasn't on anything. She wasn't taking anything.
Rocky and Precious came home to Washington, D.C., and Rocky says part of her was terrified someone would find out what she had done. But when she looked at how healthy Precious was, she didn't care.
What did I have to lose? Her? You know, lock me up? Okay, that's a chance I was going to take.
Not long after she got home, Precious went for a checkup. Doctors at the National Institutes of Health were monitoring her. When the lab report came back, Rocky says everyone was stunned about Precious's viral load.
I started shaking, I was sweating. I said, "Come here, Precious." And we was in there jumping and screaming, and I was like, "Your viral load is 0. Baby, your viral load is 0. And she was, oh my God, you talk about a good feeling. And at that point in time, I didn't care. I got on the phone, called Dr. Davis, and it was like a party.
Was he mad at you?
No, not at all.
He understood. He understood you were a desperate mother.
He understood the desperation.
Her lab report showed Precious's viral load was undetectable. There was no sign of the HIV virus in her blood.
Had any other medication done that?
Never.
Had any other medication come close?
Never.
Rocky says she didn't know how to tell the doctors at the NIH what she had done, but soon after they were all there at the Congressional Black Caucus, where an obviously healthier Precious was the keynote speaker.
I know many of you are looking at me and saying, what could a little girl like me have to say? My name is Precious Thomas.
you would think that somebody that looked like they had something that might be a cure for AIDS would be top news, but it's almost like, I don't know, it almost seems like or feels like they're trying to bury it. Now, the good news is they did find another little girl to tell you all about climate change.
This
I like how
is
he
all
does.
wrong.
I know.
I shouldn't be up
That's
here.
Greta Thunberg.
I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean.
Have you not seen
I
this
did
meme?
also look
How
at
dare
the,
you?
No idea what this
the
is.
cost
How
of
dare
the
you?
AIDS treatments, the HIV treatments. Man, that comes up to, per patient, that comes up to about $20,000 a year. If you had something where you just took a few shots and it was gone, man, that would be a life-saving problem to so many. But I've got to admit, on the other end of it, man, it would cost some people
They don't care about saving
probably
lives.
billions and billions and billions of dollars. But the good news is we've got a spokesperson on coronavirus, which could hurt your economies. But the good news is you won't get the flu.
Yet you all come to us young people for hope.
Hope?
How dare you?
She's like a character from a bad movie.
You have stolen my dreams
movie.
and my childhood with your empty words. And yet I'm one of the lucky ones.
What is this?
People are
Yo,
suffering.
I can't believe you don't even
People
know
are
what this
dying.
is.
Entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you?
Now, it sounds
How
like
dare you.
whoever's the puppeteer behind all this is really against economic growth for you and your families. In fact, do these climate change scripts sound an
like a
awful
mad
lot
scientist.
like the coronavirus scripts to you? And also the air, we need to tax, we need a tax for the air. The Prince of the Air wants his tax for the air.
Okay.
George Soros.
All right, cool. So there was another before that. There was a clip where it showed like in this news story about how he was in Africa. They showed footage of him like healing people that were really really sick with AIDS.
Right.
And they would come in, and then after a few days of treatment, these people were like back to normal. Like they felt better than they ever felt in their lives.
Right.
2 days.
Yeah.
Right.
So this dude tries to come back to the States, and he meets with Dr. Fauci, and he tries to get this cure passed, and they basically told him, shut him down. They said, nah, man. You know what I mean? They wouldn't even test it. They wouldn't even look into it. You know what I mean? And I believe, like, just from seeing that clip, he gave her that vial. You know what I mean? And said, if they ask you, you got to tell them you stole it. Because I'm not allowed to give you this. You know what I mean?
Or
because
like
how would he not know a vial went missing? You know what I mean? Like he gave it to her because he wanted her to cure her daughter, but he couldn't. He had to act like she stole it. You know what I mean? But that's crazy. Like I never even heard of that.
Yeah.
And
me either.
But there was a news story on it and nothing. No one.
Local news.
Local news.
Right.
And how many people like that have there been in the past?
Right. Dr. Sabi's another one. They will
Sabi.
always tout this cure for different diseases, AIDS, herpes, cancer, like stuff like that, using the methods that people talk about him all the time about how like they would never. He couldn't come to the States.
What did he die of?
That dude?
Yeah,
I don't know. Probably not
say.
AIDS though. Yeah, right. Like did he get?
You know what I'm saying?
Did he get Clinton?
Probably.
I mean, I don't know, but the bottom line is that this stuff gets pushed and hidden, pushed under the rug, hidden, and I think this is the time where you're going to start to see a lot of this exposed. This come to the surface, like the documentaries we've been seeing. Like a lot of this stuff, the more people see it,
absolutely,
especially like right now,
Yeah.
most people are home, they're watching stuff,
Right.
Yeah, but they're getting inundated with Tiger King and all these other time wasting pieces of shit.
Yeah, but that one, what was the
I
one-
was like, no, it's amazing.
What was the one that
They
we
look
saw?
down on YouTube.
Yeah.
There was one that we saw not too long ago.
Out of the Shadows?
Out of the shadows.
Yeah.
That thing has been
Climbing.
seen like billions.
Yeah.
Really?
Yo,
There's
Crazy.
another one.
Yeah.
I think they tapped it more into the CIA part, what we was just talking about,
right?
How they manipulate through radio,
right.
You know.
Two things I want to say.
I gotta send it to you guys.
Yeah.
The first one, I think people just don't believe. I don't know. Maybe we live in a time where we don't believe that there are men out there, men or women, who want to create something for the betterment of society. The doctor who cured polio was one of them.
Right.
When he did it, he didn't want a monetary gain.
Mm-hmm.
The hospital he worked for, they were like, "What?" Because they immediately wanted to patent that. But his goal was just like, no, we have a problem,
right?
And I worked hard to fix this. I want to help people. Their goal was like, no, we want to patent this thing and sell it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. And you see that? Look at what Tesla was trying to come up with a way to access electricity without.
Right.
You know,
he was a perfect one.
Anyone could access it.
Anyone
could
access it. Yes, he was a perfect one.
As soon as they found out what he was up to, they cut all his funding. They said, "No way, man."
Right. And for those of you who don't understand, it's to do with the word planned obsolescence.
Right.
When Tesla came in and he decided to reinvent the incandescent?
For those that don't know, Nikola Tesla.
Yeah, not Tesla the car.
Tesla the car was named after him.
Yes, Nikola Tesla.
Because he is
Serbian.
He is the father of AC current electricity as we know it. He's the one who developed that technology. He's the one who created the modern motor that is used, the magnetic radio, the radio, the motor that's used in every appliance that you use to this day is based off of Tesla's design, which he says he got from just going on a walk and it just came to him. You know what I mean?
Right.
But he was a very deep dude. He was weird.
But the thing about him was interesting. He never lived lavishly.
Yeah,
he was a simple guy.
Simple guy.
You know, he wanted to.
But he came here to help Edison because there was he needed money to start his research. He wanted to develop technology, and Edison was given this prize for anyone who could figure out what was it? Some motor. That Edison was working on. Anyone who could figure out what was wrong with his design, he would give him this prize. And Tesla figured it out quick. And then basically Edison told him go kick rocks. Yeah. You know what I mean? But he ended up giving him a job as an inventor. So he started inventing all this stuff. A lot of people don't know that about Thomas Edison, that he was really just the face behind a lot of these inventions. He had a whole team working for him of people. He was like Steve Jobs back in the day. He was the Steve Jobs of the old, technology. But Tesla was a guy that was a true genius.
And he had multiple patents, multiple inventions.
Yeah.
But one of the things was how the word planned obsolescence came about was when they figured out making a light bulb. If a light bulb, if you could build a light bulb, never go out. There's no money in that. There's no profit in that.
The profit is getting them to come back and keep buying it.
Right. So light bulbs were initially built to last. In fact, one of the first light bulbs that's built is still working to this day because it wasn't built. It was built to perfection.
It was built to never burn out.
Right. And they figured, well, the industrialists who funded
the people that were funding it were like, "There's no money.
That's not going to work. We need to make it work, but so long so people will keep coming back." It's the reason why they can make something to go to the moon and a car can't last but 5 or 6 years. Because they need you to come back. You know what I mean? And that's
iPhone every year. Got to get that new one.
What's coming next?
Did they go to the moon?
Here we go. Conspiracy theories. But I want to touch on polio real quick because I got a funny story. Your dad was telling me today about polio. So you were talking about the cure for polio. Your dad grew up in Trinidad, in the woods, in the country, right? And primitive lifestyle. And he was telling me that when he was a kid, because your uncle Messe had the messed up arm, right?
Right.
And he couldn't open his arm. So he was telling me a story that his parents told him that the reason why your uncle ended up that way was because
I remember this story.
Indian chief came from Venezuela. He was a guy that came to visit, from one of the native tribes in Venezuela, came over to Trinidad when his grandmother was pregnant with not your grandmother, your great grandmother was pregnant with your uncle, and the Indian chief brought with him someone who had the same messed up arm. And because she laid eyes on him, that she was pregnant and the baby got the same thing that he had.
Right.
And I was like, they really believe that?
Yeah.
And he said, yo, that's what they believed. They thought he was like, it's this weird primitive way of like not acknowledging illness. It's like you have to always attribute it to some type of like superstition or something like that. But he said now they realized that your uncle had polio. You know what I mean? And that's why his arm was messed up. A lot of people in those places at that time would have that, but I just thought that was a funny story because I just heard that today. He just told me that for the first time. That was like she laid eyes on the man with the bad arm, so her baby had a bad.
But that
arm.
happened here. They used to put people next to beds and drain their blood because they had bad blood.
Bloodletting, yeah, right.
You know,
yeah.
It's just. With education and time, all of those things change. But the original point I was making was that I don't think all people are evil. I think it's just certain corporations, certain entities, they want to control. It's the monetary gain. Right. I think that's what they're really interested in.
Yeah. We're slaves, though. We're either... we're going to be slaves of something.
Of course.
Right? So a lot of people are slaves to money.
iPhones.
Yeah. iPhones.
Likes. Women.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're going to either be... You can't serve two masters type thing.
Right.
You're going to serve God or you're going to serve mammon, which has to do with money. And they have found a way how to get you to serve it without knowing you're serving it. And if you look throughout time with Tesla and everybody else, like what's happened?
Yeah.
Like they didn't want to deal with it, but they still had to deal with the entities.
Right.
He was dealing with Morgan at the time. JP Morgan, who had to do with we talked about this on the podcast before. The whole Jekyll Island thing.
Yeah, Jekyll Island with Rockefeller
which has to do with
the Federal Reserve. When they created that whole concept. They met about that at Jekyll Island in Georgia. And even getting back to Tesla and Edison, even back then you see the same tactics that go on now with like the false narratives and tricking the public using propaganda. Like when Tesla created that AC current, which was going to put Edison out of business, because a lot of people don't know this, that DC current was the main use of electricity back
DC
then.
Was,
but it's not strong enough to travel long distances, so they used to have they said that they would have so many electrical wires in cities that you couldn't even see the sun. Like it was just electrical wires everywhere.
And if a lightning storm happened,
right. So because there were so many transformer boxes everywhere, in order for DC current to work, so he developed AC, which could travel a lot farther and could amp up the wattage. So
and safer too, because he was standing in front of it. Yeah.
But Edison decided that he's going to put Tesla out of business by traveling around to different cities and putting on these displays where he would use animals, or he even used the elephant at one point, where he would put them in front of everyone and shock them.
It would put him on a metal. The public didn't know, but it was a metal stand. Yeah, and he would electrocute animals
and say that this is what AC current did. Yeah,
these animals would explode.
Yeah,
and that's all people needed to see.
Peter would be so pissed back in the day.
Yeah, Peter ain't exist back then.
Right, and that's what he did.
Only Peter was pedophile back then. They was running rampant. But so his tactic was, I'm gonna scare people into not allowing AC current into their towns.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it couldn't be denied. Because it was just so much more. Once the financial backers realized it was benefiting them to get AC, Thomas Edison wasn't going to win.
Right.
But then J.P. Morgan realized that Tesla's ultimate goal was to find a free energy source.
Right.
And that's when he started experimenting with those Tesla coils and the towers. And he developed so many technologies that they still use to this day. A lot of military things, a lot of stuff that we don't even know about, because when he died, they seized he lived in like a little hotel room, one bedroom hotel room in New York, and they seized it and took all of his papers, all of his research. And
this man was dedicated. He castrated himself.
I heard about that.
So he wouldn't be distracted.
Yes.
He said, I have no time for anything else but...
And I don't only think it's that. I think it's also...
I don't know if he castrated himself, but I know it was performed on him.
Yeah, and I know he also had this thing about women who wore jewelry, women who wore perfume. Like all of those things were such a turnoff to him that he couldn't even be out in public places.
Right. Wasn't he like a germaphobe?
He was a germaphobe too. Yeah. It was
He died. I think so. He died in it's an important building in somewhere new. I can't remember the name of it, but he was up there by himself with nothing but paper and books and files and stuff and
technology. Certain devices that he created.
He was the Tony Stark.
He really was.
Yeah, Tony Stark.
He was the idea of the mad scientist. That was Tesla.
The other point I was going to make was about suppression of information. There's a guy in California, and he has a company that he designed off of a German designer who designed a plane with it's a 3-cylinder engine, doubly opposed. It's new now, but it had been invented before. And that plane was to fly from Germany to Brazil on one tank of gas.
Wow.
Diesel. I'm sorry.
Right.
This guy, I can't remember his name, but it's called Arcades, an Arcades engine. That engine gets, I think, 34 miles in the city and 50 miles on the highway, diesel. And it can use biodiesel. You can take
like
oil from the
French fry oil,
and do it. There's no information on that guy. No information on him. That's not even him making the news. It's just Tesla.
Right.
You know. And
there's those other dudes that I remember one documentary I watched back in the day. The dude that developed the engine that runs off of steam.
Yeah.
And it could get like 1,000 miles on one tank of gas.
Right.
Like this dude, technology disappeared and then he disappeared.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right. And that's what it is. It's like once a corporate entity comes in, their goal isn't. It's not about making life easier for the public per se, and it's financial gain.
Right.
That's just what it is.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So all that to say that we're seeing all of that happen now with this.
Yeah, well, we have to give you the backstory.
Right. But I'm just saying, like, all of this information that we're getting now is starting to expose a lot of these things.
Right.
You know, people are looking into a lot of this stuff now because they have a lot of time, except for Kyle. He knows nothing about Greta Thunberg. Kyle is still...
I never feel as misinformed as when I am here with you guys.
we'll tell you.
We tell you. Podcast. Yeah.
You got to come visit more, man. That's all it is.
Yes, yeah. I'm realizing all the stuff I'm missing out on.
Right.
Like, Melissa Fum? What is her name?
Greta Thunberg. Melissa.
That quick.
Yeah.
Okay. Even with her, like, I mean, we don't know how she's been manipulated.
I know. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
You can go to her parents' Instagram right now and see how she's being manipulated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this is a girl who has spouted out of her own mouth that she's autistic, depressed, and you know all of these other mental illnesses that she rattles off all the time. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like she. Look, Kyle's like, now I'm intrigued.
It's just so relatable now.
Yeah, but you ain't out there telling everybody. You ain't skipping school to tell everybody what they're doing wrong with the world.
No, I do that at work.
But yeah. So, but when you see her parents,
right,
like and the way that what they're into, and the way that they've kind of given her this platform to get some attention,
right?
It's and then the people that they put her up for the Nobel Peace Prize.
Right.
They put her up for the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah.
How? Like,
and they don't even realize that all you're doing now is exposing how like ridiculous that prize is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just gotta be famous.
Like most prizes.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, they're all based around the idea that this.
Right.
We create a prize because then it's another way to control you.
Yeah.
And I think that, to me, I think that's what's daunting for the average person is, well, if all this is true, where do we get our information from?
Right.
Because I think that's what's frustrating for a lot.
I've heard a lot of people say that. So where do I get? So people ask me that all the time.
Right.
Where should I get news from? You know what I mean? Where should I get news from? Because CNN is biased. I saw Joy Ike posted that like a couple days ago, asking people like, where can I legitimately get unbiased news from?
Where can I get unbiased news?
I've looked at that post like doesn't exist.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I've heard that probably the most unbiased source you could watch would be like Al Jazeera That's what other people have mentioned to me.
Okay.
First off, I don't really exactly know what Al Jazeera is.
You just remember the name?
I remember that's what they were saying.
Right.
What is Al Jazeera? Do you know?
I have no idea.
I've heard of it before, but I haven't looked into it.
I mean,
it's a news source from another country.
Yeah.
Right.
But they do news about us.
Yeah.
Right. Actually, you know what's funny? I'm sorry. Sky from Australia does. They're on my feed and YouTube. They do actually fair news. They have been talking about the inconsistencies between.
But that's BBC, isn't it?
I think that they could be affiliated, but BBC does pretty decent.
What I would say to people is you have to go to multiple sources. Yeah. And you have to take it all with a grain of salt. You have to identify the bias.
Yes.
And see that within the framing and not be pulled into that framing. Like that's all it is. And you have to try to stay as neutral as possible.
And you can look stuff up for yourself.
That's what I mean. Like look.
Actually, that's a good point. I have learned a lesson because when I was younger, if you didn't like what I was saying, or whatever you said that didn't gel with what I believed, I would turn you off.
That's what most people do.
And I think I learned a lesson by, let me listen to it. Even though my blood is boiling, there's a possibility for me to learn something from you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's untempered mortar.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what I'm saying is that's like something that is untempered.
You hit me with the analogies.
You're a builder. You know what that is.
Yeah. How do you, if it's untempered,
but you put me onto the hill.
Yeah, I like the hill.
So I would see their publications sometimes and be like, all right, it's a little left, it's a little progressive leftivist,
and that's more their writers,
right? Yeah. But I see that they are trying to be a little more like evenly based,
right.
Even in their publication, but their YouTube videos are kind of the same. So I've been kind of watching them, and getting news.
And I think that's what you have to do. So you have to, like you said, you have to go to multiple source, and then you have to lose your intellect to put it all together.
Yes, that's what it is.
And that's what people don't. Can you tell me what to do?
Right.
That's what the hard part is, because that's what I had to do, was sort of go into this world of, wait, so this is happening. How do I make all this make sense? And turn off and, remember when I went on my little pill, no cell phone, no nothing.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, time to really figure this thing out.
Right.
You know
that was your out in the wilderness.
Yeah, my travel to Mecca moment. But it is true. You're not going to get truth from all one source.
Even, why do we feel like we have to watch the news so much anyway?
Yeah.
Like I don't think we have to know everything that's going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's good to have an understanding, but I mean, it can go too far.
Definitely.
I barely watch the news. Like sometimes it's hard not to catch.
I don't watch the news at all.
Right.
I just
but when I'm saying news, I mean like current events, because you can get that in many ways. That's what I'm saying. It's hard not to turn, like it's hard to turn it all off.
Right.
You're gonna, if you have a phone, you're gonna find stuff.
You're gonna find it. You're closer to it now. The best advice I got was from an 86-year-old man. I did a job for him, and we were just having to be talking about life. And he said, "Son, let me tell you something." He said, "It ain't never gonna change." He said, "I've been around a long time." He said, "Every 10 years, every couple of years, there's something." He's like,
"This is worse than the last time." It's always the same.
He's like, "I voted for everybody I thought was going to do something, didn't do nothing.
Right.
I believed in everything that I thought was going to be about something. It ain't nothing." He's like, "It's progressively. This is just how it was. We're just living in a fallen world. We can't control this,
But at the same time, like it's true, but then it's not true, because you can take that further and just think, well, what am I hoping for?
What's the point? Right.
Yeah. No. He wasn't. I don't think he meant it in that way. He was just trying to tell me that you're getting. I think in his way he was trying to say you're getting hyped about somebody saving you from this, but there's no one man, no political party, no genius.
You ain't gonna vote in your savior.
It ain't happening.
Right.
He's like that's what he was trying to tell me, and I understood what, because we end up becoming close and we talk all the time, and I think I understood what he was trying to say,
Speaking of voting in, did anybody see the latest epic? Trump is such a troll, yo. such a troll. Did anybody see the latest epic troll that he did?
No, I haven't seen it.
So he hit. Well, I'm sure it wasn't him, but somebody. His team be shitting on everybody all the time. So they created a website called Truth Over Facts.
Oh, I seen the video.
Oh, God.
There's a video that they have.
Is it there's
a website that's called Truth Over Facts, has a video over it where they talk about we're starting this new thing, investigating Truth Over Facts. But the troll about it was, because it's from Trump creating it, all of these journalists start going on these Twitter rants about like Trump believes that truth matters more than facts. Like, this is fascist thinking.
I know
like
that happened.
So, but they don't realize that Joe Biden is the one that said that. So the whole point of them making the website was because Joe Biden said this.
Right.
So they knew that people were going to attack Trump for saying it, but it was Joe Biden. The whole
time. They didn't do their research.
Okay, here we go.
Trump was a bad dude. I'm not going nuts.
He'd be the oldest president in American history.
Are you
Winston
really? Churchill. All right, Chuck. Thank you very much.
It's Chris, but anyway.
It would put 720 million back in the workforce. We choose truth over facts.
We choose truth over.
And that's what he called the website?
Hello? Yes, he called the website Truth Over Facts.
But even in that, man, it's just sad that it's turned into, you know what I mean?
It's like a joke almost.
Yeah.
Politics is a joke.
It's a joke, yeah.
It's a joke. And it's
maybe
literally
that's the point.
Yeah.
Is that it's
exposing that.
It's a joke.
This is all a game. Like, it's just ridiculous. It's just, this is where we're at now.
Because it's so obvious. Like, how if you don't want to see this, you don't want to see it.
Right.
You know?
But it's just funny because people were really going off on, like, journalists, people that are supposed to like research things were going off talking about like, how dare Trump talk about truth over facts? Like, what are we living in right now? Like, they're going on like, it's like they don't even
their
get
favorite thing to
what
say.
how they play.
Was that CNN who just had Greta Thunberg talking about
It sure was
coronavirus?
Yeah. What?
No, doesn't even matter. I was just.
What?
Who?
Thunberg?
Yeah, is that her name? I keep.
Thunberg.
I
guess. I don't know. She's Swedish.
Thunberg.
However you say
Greta.
that. Thunberg.
I'll believe anything you say right now.
Thunberg.
I'll believe anything. Greta Bloomberg.
She's from Sweden, which didn't follow lockdown orders, by the way. So even when that was the other funny part about like them using her as an expert in their coronavirus panel, because like your country's not even following. Like the country you're in right now, talking about this is not following what everyone else is following. Like, what are we doing? It's just hilarious. All right. All right. Okay, that was good. Let's wrap it up there, guys. Let's wrap it up there.
And wrap it up.
We're going to wrap it up.
Jake's awfully quiet this evening.
Out.
Yeah, Jake didn't have too many rants this time.
He only hit me with the mortar pestle one.
Yeah, no, he said
your
untempered mortar.
Mortar, right.
Yeah, untempered. Untempered mortar. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you guys for watching.
Right.
Everyone who stuck it out with us. Carolyn, Kathleen, Kimberly, Rachel Rhoda.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
We appreciate you guys.
All we're trying to do is just trying to help you guys.
Yeah, we're just talking about things that we've seen, things that we've researched.
We're talking about truth over facts.
Truth over facts, baby.
Right.
Truth over facts.
And tempered mortar.
Jake wanted to use that so bad. I'm gonna use that.
I'm gonna throw it in there somewhere.
He's a Trinitonian.
But yeah, appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys next week. Make sure you don't forget to hit up the website, Jatan.com, get some merch, listen to some music. We got new music coming out. We got Higher Love out right now that you can stream anywhere. Make sure you check out Mr. Build Right.
That's right.
Everything's opening back up. You can get it built right.
Built right.
James Garcia.
And make sure it's done right.
And also, yeah, we're working on some stuff with Kyle, with Rachel. And it's a lot of things going on. You can go to the Patreon, you can subscribe, and subscribe on YouTube, all that good stuff. You know, all the things. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.
Young lion, go live, yeah. Young lion, you rich, yeah. This kingdom